Good morning. This is H coming at you with a Inventor tutorial video, and we're going to be looking at a few objects in Inventor and creating them using some drawings that were created by SolidWorks Education. And we're going to be looking at some different lessons and some different part files as we continue to make it. Now, if you're in my classroom taking my course, you will know these part files as the category of uh, stage two category of parts using multiple extrusions rather than just a single extrusion in part file creation. We're also look at some other tools, chamfering tools, filleting tools. It's just these are going to be a mix of a lot of different object lessons created using Autodesk Inventor 2023. So without any further ado, we will look at what we are creating. So this is the PDF I'll be having both on screen and off screen during this time. And we will use this drawing of lesson one to create this part three-dimensionally. And we'll go into lesson two as well in this video. Probably do a video, do two lessons, and then another video for another two, and just go two by two that way. So let's begin. So as we go into Inventor here, we're going to create a new part file. Now, our part files that we're using here for this particularly, we're going to be going with millimeters for this entire document. And this is the way I do it in my classroom. We're going to be using millimeters for this entire document. Everything is in a multiple of 10, except for angles, which are 45-degree angles. Everything is 10, 20, 30, 40, etc. As we move and progress through this packet. So we're going to use the millimeter part file for every single one of these parts. So you obviously want to go into your templates, make sure you get down to where you see English and metric, go to the standard MMIPT and hit create. Now, the big thing about these parts is identifying your best starting location for each part file. So as we look at lesson one, it's this 3D object here, and we need to identify the best location to begin. Now, the best location is always the one that gives us the most information. It is visual and dimensional, numbers and picture, right? So whenever we see a curve like this with a center point, this is a great starting location, because if we create this front view with these curves in here at the center point, we can make this part really quickly with those features. But if we start from like the top view, let's say, we'd have to do a lot more filletings, cutting, a lot of different features to create the same thing. It'd be more steps. We want to keep it simple. We want to keep it in a few number of steps and features that we can make. Okay. So we start our sketch, XY plane, it's the front view. I'm going to start right here at 0, 0 with my circle, because this is a great location to begin a circle. We have a diameter of 20, and we also have a diameter of 40. These are the two circles here that are kind of the foundation of the top of the part file itself. Then we have some lines that are going to be coming down this direction. Again, we're going to do the outside perimeter kind of first here. And this line that comes down, this is 30. And then it comes out this way. We're not given a dimension here yet, but it's probably like 10 or something, because everything is in this is a multiple 10. But we can draw this out just very simply and make it just kind of like that basic shape. We don't have to dimension everything all at once. I'll do a little bit of both. I'll dimension some, and add dimensions afterwards after I've drawn something, And so it doesn't really matter one way or the other. So if we draw this and start dimensioning now this line here is not a straight vertical line, so I'm going to use the constraint tool here and make that a vertical line. So that's pretty good. Then I got to make sure that we get this. This is 10. I'm looking at the dimensions that are given to me in the drawing itself. This is also 10. So we'll make that. Now this is 80. And now we need to make sure from here to here, this is 40 because that's the middle. That's the midpoint there. So we want to make sure that that's the case as well. So we have 40, we have 30. We have two dimensions here that are missing. Oh, we'll make sure that we have this dimension here. That's one of them there. And we'll look at to see how does this move, if it moves at all. Let's add tangency then. If we can't determine that, we'll add some, there it is, fully constrained. It needs to be tangent. This line needs to be tangent to this curve. That way it was in the proper location. And now we're fully constrained, okay? So again, we're trying to make the outside perimeter of this part. We did this curve as well that's here. So this curve and this curve are there. Now we need to kind of cap this off. We're actually just kind of chopping this circle off. So we're gonna do that last here by just drawing a line this way. Barely see that line because of all the other interference, but there it is. And now we can use the trim tool to cut away and trim what we don't need. Basically just take it and chop it like you're chopping things like in Fruit Ninja, that old game. I just aged myself there for this video on the internet. Like that's how old I am right there, older than Fruit Ninja. So there is all the trim being done. It gives us these purple lines here, but again, nothing really changed. If we wanted to make this perfect and make sure all the dimensions were in there, we could add the dimensions back in there of the lines that we trimmed out and all that. But for our purposes here, for class and for just kind of learning basics, this is okay. And nothing changed or moved about this when we trimmed it. So I'm just going to finish the sketch, click OK. So what we've created here is a sketch of two different profiles. Now, what profiles are in Inventor, profiles are closed-in shapes. This green area is a profile. We've talked about this in other videos. This is also a profile, a closed-in shape. And because there are two in this sketch, I can actually use both of these as independent extrusions at different lengths to finish this part and create it and make it fully complete. So this part here, according to the drawing that I'm looking at here on the side monitor, is 30 millimeters for this base piece that's right here. That's one profile extrusion 30. This other one here, this kind of half circle moon shape, this has to be extruded 40 millimeters. So what do I need to do? I need to make another extrusion of this profile. So the easiest way to do this, a shortcut way to do this in Inventor 2023 is use this little green plus sign. Very easy. You click it, and what it does, it creates that extrusion one that we've just did. There it is. But now allows you to select the other profile, type in the amount of the extrusion you want to occur, and then of course you can click OK because we don't need to add any more. We only have two profiles. If we had 3 or 4 or whatever, we could do this multiple times. So we'll click OK, and there it is. That is our lesson 1 part. It is very simple. 2 extrusions based upon a single sketch in our front view. And once we drew that sketch in there with those 2 different profiles, it made this part very easy, very quickly and nicely. Now, for the last thing in this video, we're going to make another one. We're just going to do another part. So open up a new part file, millimeter part file. We're going to do the same thing. And now we're going to look at lesson 2 that is here. So a little bit about this part file here. Let's do a little bit of zooming out maybe here. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. We can see everything. So here, obviously we have our isometric view, what it looks like. We have our front view, right side view, top view here. So again, we need to identify the fastest method to get to a finished part file. So once we identify what view we're going to start with and draw, we will draw that. We'll look at the profiles, extrude those profiles out and be good. So I'm looking at the front view and I'm seeing a lot of dimensional information, but this top view is just too tempting. There's a fillet here, there's a circle. Again, if I drew this front view, I would have to like add the fillets like after extruding 3D material and then also cut out this hole that's here. There'd be a lot of additional work. Plus this empty space that is here between these 2 walls of material, I could draw this in, but if I extruded it, it'd be solid material. I have to cut that out again. I'd have to cut this out and this circle out. So the fastest way is to actually draw this top view and extrude these profiles and leave this circle unextruded, this profile of the circle unextruded. And so that's what we're going to do. That's what I'm going to work. I'm going to work on it that direction as my starting point. So let me move this over and get it kind of situated so I can read it as I'm looking at my other monitor. And now we'll start our sketch here in our top view. This is the XZ plane. And again, sometimes when you open up the XZ plane, it's going to be turned like this, with the top view kind of going down. You can turn it so it just reads top and you should be okay. We're going to start out with a rectangle, since that's like the fastest way to draw this shape. And then we can dimension it 40 millimeters. This dimension here is going to be 70. And now we got to look at some details of what we've actually drawn. So really fast, we already have an outside perimeter nearly done. We just need to fillet this and do some interior features. So very, very quick. So we need to go to fillet, and our fillet radius is 10. And we need to fillet this corner and this corner, just like that with our fillet tool. Remember, with our fillet tool in the sketch mode, we just need to select on the two lines or the corner that's being, eliminated here and made into a curve, like we've talked about in other videos about the fillet tool, and add that, and we should be good. We also need to add the circle that's here. So I'm going to add the circle that is here. This is a 20 diameter circle. Its dimension is 50 millimeters from this edge, so we can add that in there. It's also in the middle of the part, which makes it at 20 millimeters from the bottom. So the circle is now fully constrained, so that's looking good. And now we need to look at drawing in some other information here. We need something at 30 coming down over all the way to that edge. And now it's going to actually, there's also going to be another one. Let's mention this one first. So this is like a little kind of section profile that's here. Again, everything is in a multiple of 10. So the minimum there is 10. This dimension here needs to be 10. Now the last thing we need is, what is this here? This is a multiple 10, which is 30. So with this shaping here, we have this set up. Now we just need to dimension this side here. There's going to be a couple of lines just drawn in to kind of close in a small kind of rectangular area there. And so this dimension is going to be 20, perfect. This dimension should be 10, perfect. Those worked out very nicely. So as we look at our drawing that we've created, this sketch here, and compare it to the drawing that we were looking at for our lesson 2, we see it is done. Like, this is all the profiles, the outer perimeter is done, all the inner profile shapes that were needed to be created were there. So this is completed. We can finish this sketch, and we're going to extrude this. And we need to extrude this. This feature here gets extruded 20 millimeters. This is like the shorter one of these 3 different profiles. And again, we want to leave the profile of the circle unselected. We don't want to click on that circle, because then it's going to fill it in. It's not going to be a hole. So then we'll hit the plus sign again. That little feature is very nice. We're going to click on this wall here and this one here. These two are both actually getting extruded the same amount. We're just going to chamfer one of these edges to make it so it has that slope that's in the lesson drawing that we were looking at. So both of these are 40. Hit enter and we're good. Now we need to chamfer this edge here. Again, this edge here. So we want to chamfer this. And the window of chamfering, the chamfer that we're given is actually, we're just given the amount horizontally in this direction of 20. But in this instance, the chamfer is equal to both directions. So it's equal distance of 20, which is our first chamfer option here of distances, distance 20. And so it's going 20 horizontally, 20 vertically, chamfering off that corner. That's it. That is lesson 2. Thank you all for joining me and looking at these 2 lessons here using Autodesk Inventor 2023. We did SOLIDWORKS Education Lesson 1 and Lesson 2, both using this software. Have a great day.